that girl culture these days. You're like waking up, eye patches, red light mask.
I don't like people imitating me or copying me.
There is a little bit of the fake it till you make it.
But if you don't know your own style, look at your...
Hi everyone, welcome to WOW, Woes of Womanhood.
I was scrolling through TikTok and there was this one quote that stuck out to me, and it was, if you're yourself, then you won't have any competition. Which was actually something that gave me comfort, because in society, there's just a lot of like social media posts, YouTube videos, even in real life, that you're always comparing yourself to others. But that quote kind of stuck out to me, and I was talking with Melody about it, and I really wanted to make this video talking about developing our own brand.
I definitely think being that girl means you just have an embodiment and strong sense of self, and that essentially equates to having a strong personal brand. I think Mao and I have really gone on this journey in our late 20s of building our own personal brands and sharing about that journey with each other and helping reinforce that for each other in a lot of different ways.
I just want to be that watch that walks into the room and everyone's just like,
it's like, who's that?
Exactly. There's always this one person in the group, whether that's in work or whatever, social parties. A person walks in and they have authority, they have power, they sit down and everyone just looks at them for their opinion. And I always wanted that. I think this is step 0.
Yes, step 0 is definitely building your personal brand. And I think it's an evolution. We've really evolved into ourselves. And it's funny because Mao and I have been friends since kindergarten, and I think there was this bit of us when we were wee bit little babies, and it was exactly the same as now. It's just really flourished and evolved. It always exists. You have your brand. It just may be that you haven't assigned a label to it, and I think that's very important, because that's how you refine it and really embody that and what it is.
It's hard though, because as you grow up, you experiment with different styles and different ways of showing yourself, and I've definitely done that. I've tried to go for the gothic route or the more tomboy look or the street style look, and I figured out what my strengths are and what looks best on me. And I keep talking about physical appearances because that's a way to start your personal brand, and the easiest way, I think.
Appearance is kind of the first way that you can establish your personal brand. Obviously there's a lot of different ways through your personality, your actions, stuff like that, but I think physical appearance is kind of the first impression and the way that you're able to establish that. So we had this discussion around what are our 3 style words? Like, how would we define how we express ourselves through primarily fashion and like makeup and stuff? Because that's helped guide somewhat of who we are. I know Mao, she's very, look at her vibe. Like, she brings the Japanese culture. She brings a bit of the sultry, the softness, the pinkness. She's very like cute little bunny girl.
Fairy. Melody makes a great point about having a cultural element, and I think I see that in her fashion too. It's always very nice if you bring your cultural element to your personal brand, because that is part of you. A lot of my clothes are from Japan. They're more Japanese, like wabi-sabi style, minimalistic with a little bit of a sexy flair. So that makes it a little bit more unique.
And it just makes sense for your ethnicity. There are certain things that those ethnicities gravitate towards because it just works well with them. Middle Eastern makeup is usually darker because we have such dark features. And I feel like, Japanese makeup is much softer because that's what's more complementary to your features as well. So there is that big cultural element of usually if you lean that direction, that will most likely work for you in some sort of way. Don't fight that. Obviously, take your culture, make it your own. Like if I went and I was wearing black and wearing gold and I was like, this isn't me. Obviously, you can work within what feels truly you, but I think it is a lot rooted in your culture. Like it most likely will work.
For example, my hair. Like I've tried to dye it. I tried to make it really short. I've tried a lot of different things with it, but what looks best on me is my natural black hair with my paler complexion and keeping it just straight. Leaning into how you originally look really emphasizes that beauty too, and your personal brand.
The style component is definitely a big part of your personal brand. Outside of that, personal brand is your aura, your energy.
And this is the hardest part though, and the most important part. Physical, yes, you can do stuff and make it happen overnight almost, but this aura about you is built and it needs a lot of training and confidence to reach that. And I'm not nowhere near that yet, but I know I'll get there soon.
Well, I think it is an evolution over time. Like
Yeah.
you constantly are building that up. And I think a big part of it is self-confidence. So in your identity, you need to feel like you're not playing dress up. And that you're like faking who you are. And there is an element of fake it till you make it. And I was talking to this about Mal, like a big part of how I crisp what I believe my identity is and what my aura is by labeling it. And the way that you do that is through vision boarding, like seeing like, okay, this is who I am and this is my life. If I was standing from an external POV looking at, like, this is kind of the brand and the energy that I want to have. So on Pinterest, it's not only like style inspo, but it's just like things that you love, like colors that you love, patterns you love, different things that you feel like exude you, and then feeling like that is truly you. Not that you're cosplaying that. That feeds into the confidence of like, this is who I am and I'm showing up as authentically myself.
When you're being perceived, yes, you want to be having that personal brand, but it's also when you're not being perceived that you're still exuding your brands. For example, when no one's at home, it's just me, and I'm wearing my ugly 3rd grade pajamas, I think, what do I want to wear and what do I feel most confident in? And it might be my pink, cute, checkered pajama set. So that's what I try to wear, and that way I actually exude the character I want to become.
I think there's the external POV, like how you're perceived, but who are you when no one's watching? And I think that's
so
truly
important.
who you are. Yeah.
And the more you do it, then it truly becomes you.
Totally. So there is an element of where there probably is a period where you're like, oh, this feels uncomfortable. Like maybe this isn't me. But I think the repetition and the truly feeling like, okay, this is me. This is just who I am is a big part of that. And I know that girl culture these days are like waking up, eye patches, red light mask. No, but we do that. That's like literally what we do.
I hate that feeling of like having to always do more, do better, or optimize. But the more you do it, it just becomes second nature, and we've habituated to that, and now it doesn't feel like effort to do it anymore.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. It like becomes who you are, right?
The good thing about this is that when people are not perceiving you're doing all of this, it builds that confidence when you are in front of people and you have that inner thing that you can lean back on and know that you built this for yourself and you know that is truly yourself, and that shows. Don't think of it as each day you're doing this extraneous task. It's to have that confidence in the future.
Yeah, and I think that's a big reason why a lot of people get to a certain point where they no longer need external validation. Because at the beginning, you're like trying to be recognized for it. And then it gets to a point where you trust yourself so much and you identify with that so much that you're like, that's just who I am. Like whether people perceive me that way or not, like that is truly who I am.
Yeah.
And then that in turn makes people perceive you that way. There is an element that I wanted to touch on about the external perception and the truly who you are, because I think there are elements of status symbols and external ways of getting that validation, as I mentioned, that I think do play somewhat of an important role into.
It's a cycle. It's an input and output, and there are some external factors that help you also have that confidence.
Yeah. So I think building that individuality, I see it as if I want to be that person who is high status, I want to be very chic. Like obviously I'm someone personally who loves jewelry. I definitely feed into that. I'm going to be getting trendy jewelry that also symbolizes, oh, this is what the it girls are getting and this is what is popular among people and gets recognized among people. And I see value in that because there is an element of perception of like, oh, that's who you are. And it affirms who I am. So I think that's like the external POV of a big reason why people are motivated to buy things and do things. It's because it gives them identity. There also is an element of to be truly unique and to adapt that to be truly who you are, then it's up to you to put in the work to bring your own unique flair to it. As an example, in this jewelry context, I like chunkier jewelry, so I'm going to lean towards more chunky, or I have my name written in Farsi on me, which is like symbolic of my culture. Like I add in different elements that are unique to me, even though I still have like the basic ass Van Cleef. It's going to be with a little bit of my own flair.
I have an example of that too. I was very heavily influenced by Melody to start getting into jewelry, and especially gold. And we went to Dubai and like we got friendship bracelets too. But with that though, I knew that I probably won't look as good as Melody with chunky jewelry. It doesn't fit my style. So for me, jewelry means keeping it very dainty, but statement pieces.
You can adapt what is very popular and still make it your own.
This might be a weird tip, and I'm gonna be pretty random here, but if you don't know your own style, look at your astrology. So my rising sun is in Cancer, and then my Venus sign is Gemini. So
Shocking.
I can be duality vibes and I guess outgoing. I do like to look like different characters sometimes, going into that cosplay element and be like a chameleon. So I can see that in myself.
So what did your astrology help you with exactly?
Cancer is very romantic, soft, emotional, and that's truly my style. And then at times when I want to go out, I follow my Venus sign, which is a little bit more strong and, you know, sultry and just a little bit edgier. And honestly, that's my style and personal brand.
I'm not really sure if I'm into that woo-woo but personally,
It's a starting point.
it's a starting point. Sure. Whatever is a starting point for you, I think is helpful.
Yes.
A big thing for me is not jealousy in the negative term, but when you look at something someone wears, or you look at a place someone goes, or a way someone carries themselves, and that inspires you, that should be a light bulb in your head of like, oh, this is something that I feel like I identify with and I want to align myself with. You know, getting inspiration from everywhere and other people and kind of reflecting on how they make you feel also is a helpful guide. Or maybe just look at the stars, like Mal suggests.
I actually do the opposite of Melody when she's saying to like look at who your role model or like jealous person is. I go opposite. I don't want to look like them because they already exist in the world. So I try to be the best on the other side, which is super interesting. That's why I don't like people imitating me or copying me too, because I want to be this like unique, special snowflake.
Mal's philosophy is that she hates when people copy her.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
She's literally like,
no sharing, no copying, no offering.
Personally, I'm like, if someone's copying me, I feel like, wow, that's so flattering. Like I was an inspiration to them and that actually validates me.
Right.
It's like, oh my gosh, my style or my curation like resonated with them so much that they chose to adopt it themselves. And I'm like,
that's older sibling thought pattern though.
Right.
The youngest sibling thought pattern is that there's no one below me or above me that's going to copy me. So I'm like the founder of everything.
Right. But going back into how this feeds into being that girl, I think it all comes down to confidence, honestly. Like we talked about a lot of random tactics, but like ultimately it's about being clear and confident.
I hate that word confidence because that was my first performance review, what I need to work on. And I was just told, you lack confidence. And I'm like, hello, how am I supposed to increase confidence? And it doesn't just come with age.
I mean, I think you just get more comfortable. You just repetition, trust yourself more, feel more comfortable in a space. Yes. This is exactly what we talked about.
But people say it comes with like age. Once you're 30, you're going to be confident. It doesn't come like that.
No. There is a little bit of the fake it till you make it. But also it's like, you need to believe that. Like you can't be like faking it and be like, I know I'm faking it and I am so making this all up. No, like you have to fake it, but like believe that it is true.
And then people start to believe your lies too.
That's why when people are delusional, they're successful.
Yeah, people think they're so. I'm trying to learn how to be delusional, everyone.
Honestly, you need to. You need to.
It goes back to the quote in the beginning of to truly have no competition, it is to be yourself. And yeah, that's what we're working towards every single day.
Take what you want, leave what you don't, and become the beautiful little butterfly. All right, well, thanks so much for tuning in to today's episode. Let us know what we should talk about next, honestly.
And would you guys be interested in a meetup? Because that would be super fun.
We're doing our strategy for the next year. For one, we're going to be talking about our goals recap. Remember the beginning of the year when we went through like all of our goals? We're going to say if we passed or failed. So that'll be a fun one. And then we're thinking about next year to kick off some meetups in the San Francisco area. So if you're in San Francisco, let us know.
And see you guys not next Thursday, but the Thursday after that. Bye.